with the spotty dog. I'm so sorry it's taken me so long to get another video up. I was manically sewing because I was going on holiday. I wanted to get a video up before I went on holiday, but as per usual I was still stowing stuff like the day before we went, ran out of time, and since we come back the weather has been beautiful in the UK, so I've been outside trying to top up my tan. But I'm back. I've got some things to show you that I've sewn, and because I've been away for so long I thought I'd also show you some old things that I made when I first started sewing that you haven't seen before, and some things I actually had to repair in order to take on holiday. So I thought, well, they've been on the sewing machine, I'll give you another quick preview, well, not preview, give you a quick view of them, whatever, you know what I mean anyway. So I'll crack on. Oh, by the way, it's about just gone 8 o'clock on a Saturday night now. The Champions League final is on, Stuart's watching it downstairs, we're in my bedroom. I've tried to pretend that it's tidy. I've like just moved all the crap off the bedside table onto the bed where you can't see. And I've got a nice glass of fizz on the go to keep me going through filming this vlog. It's been a lovely afternoon. I did plan on doing this much earlier in the day, but the sun came out, and in true British fashion I was out in my bikini on the decking before you could say burnt to a crisp. So here I am at 8 o'clock at night doing it. But I've managed to get a nice summery top on. This is one of my makes. I think this is about the third thing that I ever made when I started sewing. And this is one of the things that I always take on holiday, and I just love. So if I move all my hair out of the way and sort of step a bit closer for you, this is a Grainline Studios Hemlock tee. For those of you who know, this is a free pattern that you can download from Grainline Studios. And when I first started sewing, I must have been quite, you know, laissez-faire with rules, because this is supposed to be for a jersey fabric, and I've sewn it in this lovely woven, I don't know what it is, I think it's some kind of linen mix, I don't know what it's mixed with. It's quite sort of stiff, it's got quite a lot of body, it creases, but I don't mind that. You know I don't like ironing, but I don't mind the kind of crease look in this kind of fabric. I think it just adds to the ambience of the top. But yeah, I totally ignored that, made it in a woven, and I think it's come out fine. And I also made some adjustments to it, so it comes in only one size, and that size is quite big. So being a novice sewer, I thought, well, I'll just take a bit off the centre, and it seems to have worked fine. So I just took a couple of centimetres out the front and the back just to make it a bit less. You can see it, there's a lot of ease in it, shall we say. And I added little turn-up cuffs. I've done them in a really bizarre way. I don't even know, looking at them now, how I've done them, but I managed to get little cuffs on, and I added a little pocket onto there that I was very proud of. And I decided that I was doing side vents. Again, I've done these in a totally random manner, not how you should do them at all, but it's worked, and it's been a staple in my wardrobe. I've got a pair of green jeans that I wear it with, a pair of white jeans that I wear it with, but I just happen to have these jeans on earlier, so I couldn't be bothered to get changed. So this is one of the things that went on holiday with me, and got an outing on our first night out to dinner with a pair of white jeans, so I was pleased with that. I'll show you the next sort of old thing I've got to show you now. Hold on. So this is a cami top that I made just over a year ago, I think, with a remnant of fabric I got from Sew Over It. There's a lot of Sew Over It fabrics that are going to crop up in this. It was Lisa Comfort and Sew Over It just inspired me when I first started sewing, and anytime I could get to their shops or get stuff online I did, so there's lots of Sew Over It fabrics in my early sewing. But this cami is from, I'm going to call it a vintage pattern. It's 1980s, I think. So whether that classifies as vintage now, I don't know, but over 30 years ago. And I had a ready to wear sort of cami top that was this kind of style and shape, excuse the pink bra straps. But it was, I struggled with a cami top because, don't get me wrong, I love the Ogden cami on everyone. I think it looks great. But on me, I don't find those kind of trapeze shape garments always that flattering. So I wanted something with darts in it, but I still wanted sort of the V neckline. And I really, really struggled. I couldn't find any new modern patterns that were like that weren't bias cut or some other weird and wonderful thing. And then I came across this vintage pattern and I had to take a punt. It was one of those ones where you only get one size, and I think I bought the size 8. I'll insert a picture of the pattern. I can't even remember what pattern company it is, but it's got quite a few variations on the pattern. I've only made one so far, but I want to have a go at some of the others as well, because I think actually they're really nice. There's some sort of like straight across square ones. There's one that's got like a diagonal two-tone effect. It's nice. But yeah, I found this. My measurements were not the size 8, but I thought there's probably going to be quite a bit of ease in that pattern because it's from one of the big 4. And I was right. There is just about enough to get it on. I've got it on with quite a substantially padded bra, and there's enough room in there. Unfortunately, after I first washed it, my evil washing machine just chewed it up completely. Well, it chewed the straps up. It has a nice tendency to take straps, suck them in, and just destroy them. You know, like bras come out just shredded and things. You have to put everything in bags. So yeah, this got a good shredding. So I didn't wear it for ages because I couldn't be bothered to unpick the gnarled up straps and replace them with new ones. Well, actually, it was only one strap that was really bad. The other one is just about holding on by a thread. And it had also stretched a bit as well. The straps had stretched down, so it got to the point where I thought, I didn't mind it being a bit lower at the front, but actually at the back it had gone down to the point where you could see my bra, and I thought, it's not the look I'm going for. Carrie might have been able to get away with it in Sex and the City, but I didn't think that it was going to work for me. So before I went on holiday a few weeks ago, I bit the bullet, unpicked the straps, made a new strap out of, I managed to find like an old scrap of fabric, because this was like, I think it was like 0.7 of a metre of fabric or something like that, so I didn't have a lot, but I just managed to find enough to get another strap out of, and yeah, I unpicked the other strap as well and just shortened it up a bit and put a new strap on, and it was good to go. And I wear it either just with jeans casually, or I really love it with my mustard Erin skirt. I think that the colours go really well and it's a really nice sort of outfit together. So I'm pleased to have this repaired, back in circulation. I do wish that I'd had my overlocker when I made this though, because the inside is disgraceful. I'm not going to show you because it's just falling apart, like all the facing around here is just fraying to pieces, but it's the inside, no one sees that. So that was another old one. But I am going to make some more of these camisoles because I do like them, and in a lovely like rayon like this, they're so light and airy. It's really nice. I'm going to show you one last old thing before I show you the new things I've made. So this is the last of my old makes to show you. This is a Colet Laurel dress, but I made some adjustments to it. I was on holiday, I saw a girl in a lovely blue and white caftan type dress thing sort of floating about. I thought, ooh, I want one of those. And I'd been on the Guthrie and Garney workshop make a top, and it's using the Colet Laurel pattern, so, and it's a dress obviously as well in the pattern. So I thought, ooh, I'll do that and I'll just modify it. So I just modified the neckline. I literally just cut a notch down in it to give it that kind of caftany neckline. I think actually that worked really well. I had to make loads of adjustments to this pattern. The darts were really, really high. They were sort of up here. I had to add a bit into the back seam. I didn't put a zipper in this. It should have a zipper in the dress, but because I'd sort of given it a bit more room in the neckline, I didn't think that I'd need it. But I had to add a bit into the back seam because when I made the top, it was a little bit tight and sort of pulling under my armpits. It didn't sort of go over my bust. But I think, oh yeah, and I adjusted the position of back darts, but I still don't think that's right. They don't look great. So this was really early on. I think this was sort of, God, about the second thing I made on my own. And there were two sort of fundamental errors I made. One, didn't really think about fabric. Again, so over it. I saw this and I loved it, and I do still love this fabric. It's gorgeous. I'm not even sure exactly what it is. I think it's some kind of like stretch cotton mix, but it's quite thick. You can see it was probably quite good in hindsight, holding the shape of the neckline, but it didn't give me the kind of floaty look that I wanted. But I still love the dress anyway. I still take it on holiday most of the time and wear it. But the other thing was I wanted to shorten the dress. Now, despite having an A-level in maths, didn't really think through, if you fold up the pattern to shorten it, that actually you're doubling the amount you're taking out. So I was like, yes, I want to take, I can't remember what it was, 7 centimetres or something out of it, folded up 7 centimetres, forgetting that actually that was taking 14 centimetres out of it because of the fold. So it ended up being ridiculously short. I'll insert a picture of how short it was. I can't believe I actually wore it. But as I've got older, I put it on before when I was trying to figure out what I was going to pack for this holiday, and I just thought, no, I cannot take it. I can't. I'm going to have to do something. So I added a piece to the bottom. I don't know if you can see very clearly, but I put the print running the other way around the bottom. So rather than the diamonds going vertically, they go horizontally. No reason other than I couldn't be asked to try and pattern match or do something. But I think the piece has been really successful. It's just given it, you know, a bit more modesty. I can actually, you know, raise my arms up now without showing the crotch of my pants. Crotch, whichever. And it's meant this dress is back in circulation, so yay! Over with the old stuff now. I'm going to show you the new stuff that I've made, and I'm going to go in order of, you know, degree of disaster. So I'm going to start with something that I think is pretty much a disaster. Then I'm going to go up to something that could have been a disaster, but to, you know, make some quite radical alteration, or not radical, but to make some alterations to it, and now it's not a disaster. Something that I'm really pleased with, despite the fact that it's sewn really badly, and then something that I think is just the best. So I've got 4 new things. So this is my disaster, and you can see why. I'm going to stand like this for the rest of this bit, but I thought I'd put it on without anything underneath it so you can see exactly how disastrous this is. This is the universally loved, oh, I forgot to shut that word. Don't look at the mess. You never saw that. That never happened. Yeah, universally loved, adored Astoria Sweater. Every sewist raves about it. I was like, yes, get on. It's on my make 9. Tick, do the Astoria Sweater. When it says cropped, it really does mean cropped, doesn't it? I mean, I'm 5'3". How has this happened? Even with my very high-waisted jeans that I've got, there's still a gap, and at 35, there ain't no way I'm going out and about with this on show. Absolutely not. So the only way I can wear this is to put a vest or a shirt or something underneath it, which is okay, so I can still kind of wear it. But I think generally this was a bit of a disaster. I think I stitched too far away from my neckband, so that all looks a bit weird. I may have been overly optimistic. I cut the extra small because I quite like sort of a fitted jumper. But I think this may be a little bit too fitted. I might go up a size. I think if I had a stretchier fabric, this is a Ponte Roma, and it hasn't got masses of stretch. I think if I had a lighter fabric, I'm just going to stand, I'm just going to sort of bend down. So, yeah, if I had a lighter fabric, the extra small would be okay. But yeah, and if I was going to make it out of a sweatshirt fabric or Ponte again, I think I need to go up to the small just to give it a bit more room. And obviously I need to add a good few inches to it because, I'm saying, it is just massively too short. I know I've seen other people who've made it and said, you know, I added some to it, but I thought being short I'd be all right with it, but no, clearly not. So yeah, bit of a disaster on this one, I'm afraid, but I will master the Astoria. It's good. This was just a scrap of fabric I had left over from making a dress, so you know, it's not like I've wasted really nice expensive fabric. So I've learnt now, and I will have a go at another one before the end of this year, because I do like the fit, I like the cut and everything on it, and if it was longer it'd be great, but it's not. So this is a Tilly and the Buttons Bottine dress. This is the one that was nearly a disaster. I think this pattern's lovely. I'll tell you about the disaster in a minute, but I made the version with pockets. This is a beautiful cotton lawn from Guthrie and Garney. The colours in it are just gorgeous. It's lovely, lovely quality, sewed up beautifully. If I'm honest, I'm not sure that actually cotton lawn was really the right, it is one of the things that's on the list for making the bottine, but if I'm honest, I think it would have been better with something with a bit more drape. But because, yeah, and it's turned out a bit dressier. I was anticipating that this was going to be like a bit of a day dress. And let's stand up so you can see the length of it. That it would be a day dress, but actually I think it's turned out more of a kind of casual evening dress. I think I could still wear it in the day, but you know, it's come out dressier than I thought. It's got elasticated channel, you guys know about it, but for those who don't, this, you can have it with or without pockets. It's got a facing all the way around the neckline. You've got little turn-ups at the cuffs. You can have options to put like extra little epaulette type things on there. It's elasticated around the waist. It's just like a kimono sleeve, so there's no sleeves or anything to do. No darts or anything, so it is a really simple dress, and it's marketed as, you know, easy, no fitting issues, anything like that. Yeah, I'm going to take a drink here. No fitting issues. Made it. Was using Camilla, my mannequin. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, I've named my mannequin, don't know why. Using Camilla, it was all looking lovely. I had to do some grading, by the way, so this is a 3 in Tilly's sizes up here. Graded it down to a 2. I originally made the 2 on the hips as well, but it's actually quite a voluminous shape, and I've got really narrow hips, and it was just sort of looking really weird, so I graded it down to a 1 on the hips and then back out to a 2 at the bottom, and I'm glad I graded it back out, because I think a 1 would have been sort of too restrictive around your legs. So yeah, it was all looking fine on the model, and then when I put it on, I ended up, I'll try and insert some pictures. I didn't take very good ones, it was hard to take, but I'll insert what I've got. I ended up with all like these sort of horizontal creases, almost like smile lines all across here, and no matter, I thought it was how I'd got the elastic sort of going round, and I'm there fiddling with it and trying to make it into a position there where it looks better and everything, and couldn't do anything with it. I got my mum round, and in the end we decided that actually it was like it needed a post hoc sway back adjustment. So what I had to do, and again I'll insert a picture, I had to pinch like a crescent shape. Luckily, because it's got the elastic band, I could just sort of basically like stitch back in the ditch, but I had to take like a crescent shape out, so more in the middle and then tapering up towards the sides, because I had all this excess fabric that was all sort of pooling around here, and it did look awful. Like I said, I think in a drapier fabric, or I know you can do it in a jersey, it might not have looked so bad, but in this it was really bad. But taking that pinch out fixed it all. I think what I'm going to do now on the pattern is just do like a proper sway back adjustment, sort of, you know, do the cutting and the overlapping, because I've got it's just excess fabric there for me. And I've noticed actually now on a lot more of the things that I've made, I'll probably need to do a bit of a sway back. I didn't know I had a sway back, but apparently I do. So, but the fix while it's not perfect, it's made it wearable, and I've been really pleased with it. As I've worn it a few times, I've shoved a little denim jacket over it. I really like this sort of deep top stitching, so you've got the facing, but then you top stitch, I think it was like 4 centimetres away from the facing, so it gives you quite a nice effect. And again at the bottom you do the same thing, so it looks really nice. So in the end, disaster averted thanks to my mother, and a nice wearable dress, and because it is this cotton lawn, it's really nice and breezy and easy to wear, even in black in the sunshine. On to things that I'm actually, you know, pleased with from the get-go. So you're not looking at the manky old black t-shirt, you're looking at the Melissa Watson from McCall's, I think it is. I'll insert a picture. Super cute shorts, absolutely love these. So the pattern comes with all the Palmer Pletch tissue fitting method. Could I figure that out? Absolutely not. But I made the straight size 10. So, you know, if you're looking at these and you're thinking what size I make, I'm a pretty standard size 8 and like sew over it, and companies like that. But yes, I needed to make the 10 in these, and they fit perfectly. They're really cute and flary. They've got a zip, and it's supposed to be just a regular zip with a lap, but I prefer putting an invisible zip in. So I stuck an invisible zip into it. Little hem, it tells you to do a rolled hem, but I didn't know how to do that, so I didn't bother. And it's just got an interfaced waistband. This is fabric. I've shown you the dress that I made out of this in my last video, I think it was it one pattern 4 makes, but this was a shift dress and I had a little bit of fabric left over, so this was made up out of 0.8 meters of fabric, so a good stash buster for if you've got bits of fabric left over. And I just think they're the cutest thing. I'm going to make another pair out of a rayon, which I think will be a bit sort of, you know, not quite as flary, because this fabric is quite sort of bouncy, so they kind of stick out. But oh yeah, loving these. In fact, I loved them so much that I finished making them and it was a totally miserable day here in the UK. But I didn't care. I put a pair of black tights on and a black jumper, and I've got actually some dark green boots, little ankle boots, and I stuck them on and I was out in my new shorts. So yeah, I'm really thrilled with them. I said my sewing is terrible. You have to gather kind of all, you're supposed to like ease the shorts into the waistband here. Well, I've got like tucks and all sorts where I haven't kind of done my gathering properly. But again, don't care. I was just so eager to get them on. This was, you know, I've told you before, I'm not a quick sewer. All these people I see on Instagram who, oh, you know, made this when I got home from work tonight. I'm like, how? How have you made something when you've got in from work? You know, it takes me days to make anything. But I think actually these were like 2 sort of short afternoons worth of sewing, so really quick make. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough of them. I love the Melissa Watson design. They do come with a big pair of like platzo pants in the pattern, and I am debating those. I'm not sure if they would just be kind of too much. You require a serious amount of fabric. They're massive. Imagine like these going out. But I love these so much, I am tempted. So you never know, watch this space, I might have some giant palazzo pants. Okay, nearly there. Last but not least, the best. So hold on. So this is my Pauline Alice Cami dress. I've actually been making things off my Make 9 lids, and I love this. I'm going to just tilt the camera down slightly so that hopefully you can see sort of the full flared, well not flared, it's a big gathered skirt. It's got pockets. It's made out of this lovely gingham cotton that was from Guthrie and Garney. This is the pattern and the fabric that my mom tricked me into choosing. She was saying that it was for her, and I was like, oh mom, that'll look so cute, and it does. Oh. thrilled with the outcome of this. Really recommend this pattern to anyone. You can't actually see me. Recommend this pattern to anyone. I'm really pleased to actually, some elements of my sewing on this are not great. My zip down the end is, you know, not in very well, but because the skirt's so full and the pockets and everything, you can't really tell. I was hemming it whilst wearing a face mask, ready to go out. I was due to, my taxi was picking me up in about 1 hour and 10 minutes and I was still hemming the skirt, so it's not perfect, but bits that are good. I think I've got my pattern matching across the front pretty good. What I would say about this pattern is I don't think that the instructions are brilliant around the collar. I'd never done a collar with a collar stand before. Again, like, my sewing is not perfect, but it's good enough. Actually, I don't think I could do the button up, like, put all the things in the wrong place. But when I read it, I was just thinking that doesn't make sense. It kind of sounds, the way it's written, it kind of sounds like you'd end up with like a raw edge here, and I was thinking you can't, because you see that, you can't be ending up with a raw edge. It doesn't tell you to like press this edge under or anything before you sew it on from that side. And I was looking at some of my ready to wear shirts and things, and I was thinking no. So I just followed my own method, kind of. I pressed up this edge before I sewed it on, and then when I did the top stitching I caught the pressing in to make sure that it was, you know, turned under on both sides. I think that is how it's supposed to be, but the instructions were not brilliant on that. But yeah, this was, I made the size 36 and I've only made one minor adjustment to it. When I attached the bodice to the skirt, actually the bodice was quite short, so I did the 1.5 centimetre seam allowance on the skirt, but only 0.5 on the bodice, just to drop it down a bit. So next time I make it, I'm just going to add like a centimetre or so onto the body, because the seam just sits just above I'm not sure if it would be a bit more, hit my natural waist a bit more if it came down a bit more, but it only needs to come down a fraction. I'm happy with it. It's got darts coming up from the waist and up the back. The fit is really lovely. I'm so pleased with the fabric. I've worn it out on the girls' night out here with some big high pink strappy shoes. I wore it on holiday with my little flat shoes. I just think it's really adorable. So yeah, most pleased with this one, and I'm going to plan in. I've got some beautiful cotton lawn fabric that I had from Sew Over It, and it's been in my stash for well over a year now. It's been washed for ages, but it's not been made up. I think I'm going to have a go at making another one of these, but I'm going to swap out the gathered skirt for a half circle skirt, and I'm going to make it a sleeveless one. I'm going to cut it away. I like a cutaway shoulder, so I'm going to cut it away to be quite narrow at the top there. So I'm going to try and do that by the end of July. So we'll see, because I'm going to Paris to the Lollapalooza festival, and I quite fancy it for then. So we'll see how I get on. But that is the end of my makes. I hope you've enjoyed seeing old stuff and new stuff, both good and bad. Well done if you've made it all the way to the end here. Thank you very much. And can I just say thank you to everybody who's watched these videos. My last video got to 13,000 views, which is just amazing. Can't believe 13,000 people have watched me waffling on, and I think less than 10 people have thumbs down. So I think that's a result there. So thank you so much, everyone. Sorry that I don't get more videos out, but hopefully when I do get them out, I at least show you a good amount of things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, just watch something else. Go. And and subscribe for videos at random intervals whenever I've kind of stopped messing about doing other things. But thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye!